Hi class, let's go on an adventure together. Imagine you're a hiker, you're an explorer, deep within the jungle. You're lost, you're starving, you ran out of water, you're tired. You're just headed in one direction, hoping that you'll find someone to help you. As you go, as you stumble, you uncover a massive structure. You think this place is crazy. It's covered in sculptures and carvings, steps going down the middle. You think, how am I the first to ever be here? Well, at the top, you end up seeing a man that waves to you and gestures for you to come here. You go up the steps and you see they're covered with a deep, dark red. You think nothing of it. You're tired. You're too tired to care. You're too exhausted to want to ask. You get to the top and you see he's made a nice bed for you with food and water and wine and little sculptures with faces. You lay in bed because you're tired and you look over at him and he's holding a long, black, pointed rock. And he quickly lunges for you. And that's the last thing you remember. Well, that happened. Right? Don't you think that would be something that could never be possible? It'd be out of a horror movie? Well, it happened to a real society, to real people, at a real place, at a point in our human history. The structure is called the Pyramid of the Sun, formerly known as Teotihuacan. Now, why should you care about me telling you about this? Well, for me, I come from Mexican descent and Aztec descent. It's part of my heritage, and I've been studying about this topic for a couple years now, and about this specific structure for a couple weeks to present this speech to you. Now, why should you care, though, about the structure, not just the speech? Well, the structure offers a lot of lost history for Hispanics. According to Cultural Sociology of Mental Health 2014, when the Spanish conquered Central America and taking over that structure and everything in it and destroying the Aztec civilization, they killed half of the population with just their diseases that they brought, smallpox, viruses, and whatnot. And as they conquered, they burned villages, murdered people, and destroyed thousands and thousands of years of world history. But besides that, it's also a great destination for tourists, as it's only a couple miles away from Mexico City. Now, today, I'm going to be taking you on a heart-aching adventure as we take a stab to examine the significance, the sacrificial, and the beauty of this place. First, we're going to look at the construction, then examine the religion, and third, we're going to look at the craftsmanship and beauty of the place. First, let's look at the origins, location, and construction of the structure. According to Britannica Academia, January 28th, 2019, the structure was built by unknown people and was taken over by the Aztecs when they were sweeping through, creating their empire. The structure is located a couple miles from current present-day Mexico City and would be the perfect day trip for many people. Now, how the structure was built. Though we don't know who built the structure, we do know what the structure is made out of. According to Encyclopedia of Religion 2005, the structure is made primarily of large stones and adobe bricks. These bricks were used primarily like bricks today and were made by mixing clay, water, and sand with a binding ingredient such as hay or grass. And you can see in this picture right here how the structure looks. Here we can see the steps leading up to the top, and on the top area would be where the sacrifices would take place. Now along the sides here, there are carvings and sculptures and smaller little structures as well. Now, like I mentioned, the structure is covered in many sculptures depicting the deities of the Aztec people. Now that we know what the structure is made out of, let's look at who the structure was for. According to Food, Feast, and Faith, an encyclopedia to Cultural World Religion 2014, the Aztec people were a polytheistic society, meaning they believed in multiple gods, with each god having their own form of worship and sacrifices needing to be taken place. These sacrifices would be to stop the world from ending. Now, this pyramid, called the Pyramid of the Sun, was for the sun god, otherwise known as Huitzilopochtli, and who required human sacrifices to appease him. These sacrifices would need to happen daily in order to appease him for the sun to rise again. The tools used for these sacrifices were primarily a long obsidian blade, which is made from volcanic glass. Once the lava cools, it hardens into a volcanic glass, which then can be chipped into a razor-sharp dagger used for ceremonial practices. Now that we know about the history and what the structure was used for, let's look at the current events today. According to Global Events 2014, excavations are currently ongoing, uncovering more and more about not only the pyramid, but the people and cultures that use them. The structure, like I said, is located only a couple miles away from Mexico City and would be the perfect day trip for a new traveler. You go there in the morning, come back for lunch, and you have a nice dinner at the end. Now, why should we care about this structure now, though? Well, it's a representation for many Hispanics. They see their culture, they see who they came from, the Aztec culture, the Aztec society, and many others, and they see that that history was destroyed by the Spanish conquest. By preserving this site and by constant repairs that are ongoing, hopefully one day we can uncover more about the history of the society. Now, first we looked at the origins of the structure. Second, we examined the religion practiced there. And third, we learned the significance of the structure and the preservation that's ongoing. Though the structure was haunting and had a deadly past, it still represents beauty within the Hispanic culture and within the world's history. It's a beautiful structure created thousands of years ago that has stood the test of time that we are still uncovering more about, and will be the great place for your next visit. Thank you for listening.